I'm in the Peak District, and the tallest peak here is known as Kinder Scout. It's 636 metres above sea level. Today, this whole area is a national park. You can hike here, climb here, walk your dog here, and also enjoy the view. But less than a century ago, being here could have actually got you arrested, because back then, almost all of this land was private. And in 1932, a group of people decided to change that. This is the story of the Kinder Scout mass trespass, a protest that helped give ordinary people the right to walk across the countryside. In the early 20th century, most of the countryside in England and Wales was privately owned by a handful of wealthy landowners. Large swathes of moorland like Kinder Scout and the area behind me were reserved for grouse shooting, and being here without permission was illegal, and that was frustrating, especially for the workers in industrial towns such as Manchester and Sheffield. For them, these areas were an escape, a place to breathe after 6 days of factory work, long hours and polluted air. But no trespassing signs, gamekeepers and fences stood in their way. And so, on April the 24th, 1932, a group of ramblers, most of them young working class men from Manchester, decided to take direct action. They organised a mass trespass. They would walk up Kinder Scout together and make a public stand for access rights. It was risky. They knew the landowners, and the police wouldn't be happy. Around 400 people turned up that day. They started at Bowden Bridge Quarry near Hayfield and made their way up towards Kinder Scout. Along the way, there were scuffles with gamekeepers. At least 5 of the marchers were arrested. The courts didn't take kindly to the protest. 5 men received prison sentences ranging from 2 to 6 months for lawful unassembly and breach of the peace. But while the landowners might have won in court, they lost in the court of public opinion. The sentences caused outrage. Newspapers picked up the story. Sympathy poured in from across the country. The Ramblers' cause gained enormous public support, and over the next few decades, pressure grew for reform. It would take years of campaigning. The creation of the Ramblers Association in 1935, the National Parks and Access to the Countryside Act in 1949, the establishment of the Peak District National Park, the very first in the UK where I am today. And finally, there was the Countryside and Rights of Way Act in 2000, which granted people legal access to vast areas of the open countryside, including Kinder Scout. Thanks to the Kinder Scout trespassers, those rebels, what was once forbidden is now enjoyed by millions every year. Their protest became one of the most important moments in the struggle for public access to the countryside in Britain. Today, walking on Kinder Scout is perfectly legal, and it's easy to take that for granted. But 100 years ago, people had to fight for that right, quite literally. Now, next time you're out walking in the hills, breathing clean air and enjoying the views, you can thank a few hundred brave ramblers who walked around here on one April day in 1932, and they refused to be stopped. Thanks to the Kinder trespassers, thanks to the ramblers, and thanks to everyone who fought for our right to roam.